good stuff right there. Let me go into my history real quick. So if anything in there that I want to pull out, I'll be able to get to. Anyway, what's up, guys? It's your boy Talk Williams, host of Creative Hip Hop 50th. And on this live, which I normally don't do, there won't be any music. There will be other people talking. And I definitely will be running my mouth. As you can see in the title of this live, it took me 2 hours to learn 22 seconds of a video that's 20 minutes long. I'll say it again. Why it took me 2 hours to learn 22 seconds of a 20-minute video. And this is in my Spanish lesson, my Spanish lesson number 22. I just made up the number 22 to fit all of the others because I don't have a lesson 1 through 21 yet. But yeah, that's what it is. And just to let you guys know, the last week or so, let's say the last couple of weeks, I've been doing more than just running my mouth about learning conversational Spanish. That's my goal. My goal is to spend the next 12 months developing some skills where I can, acquire, procure, learn conversational Spanish. Nope, not Spain, not in Portugal, not in South America, right here in the United States. Yes, that's the Spanish I'm trying to learn. I want to be able to engage people, get excited, become interested, have different levels of conversation, and I would like to do that in Espanol. Now, today, what is this live about? I'm going to show you an example of how challenging it has been to me. I don't have any schooling whatsoever. There's no history in any part of schooling whatsoever where I was put in front of Spanish books. We had a Spanish teacher. I took it for a semester. I took it for a grade level. None of that. So this is just off the grip. This is from the base, nada, anything. Have I been interested in the last couple years of learning it? Yes, I have. Have I made so-called commitments to do so? Yes, I have. But before I go any further, let me just say this. YouTube is a university in and of itself. And now it's not just YouTube. Now we have AI, we have ChatGPT, we have Gemini, Google's Gemini, we have Anthropic's Claude, we have Grok, we have all of these large language models and chatbots that can assist us, and as well as a slew of other resources out here. And so what I've been doing the last few days, I pretty much picked my curriculum, chose my professors or teachers, and developed my own strategy and timing of my class, an hour in the day, 20 or 30 minutes before I go to bed at night, or at least try to get a thorough 60 minutes or so, 60 to 90 minutes each day, not every other day, not like they do in college, no. Each day of exposing myself directly to attempting to learn or in a passive way. Now, what you see below me on the screen, it says Butterfly Spanish. This is one of my professors or maestros, I could say that, right? And this young lady here speaks a Mexican Spanish. She teaches a Mexican Spanish because I don't want to learn Portuguese Spanish. I don't want to learn Spain Spanish. I want to learn the way Spanish is typically spoken here in the United States. So everybody that I want to learn Spanish from, they either here already or they right online where I can get to them, okay? Now, I also picked this young man right here. This is Rocky. He's from Speaking Spanish Faster. And I'll play a little clip from his channel. He's one of my professors too, okay, or maestros, okay? And then I also have this gentleman here, Q. Paul, I think that's his name. And I'll play his opening clip also. These three for now, I've chosen to be my instructors, my teachers, my professors, my whatever you want to call it, for different reasons too. And that's what's so nice about us having the internet. That's so nice. That's what's so nice about the democracy of just the internet, the online stuff, the resources and tools available. I mean, I'm just sitting in my apartment, okay, on a at 11:30 on a Saturday night, and nobody's telling me school is closed. Nobody is telling me the building isn't open. Nobody is telling me the professors are gone for the day. Nobody's telling me nobody's available to engage with. It's no such thing. And if I check my mail tomorrow, there's not a bill. There's not an invoice. Nobody wants to see my grade point average to see if they're going to pay for the rest of my grant to learn Spanish. None of that. This is just a wonderful thing across the board. In addition to that, I have ChatGPT. That's what you see below right there under the screen. I created a GPT and I gave it a role, assigned it a profile, created a profile where it is designed to assist me with my Spanish lessons. So everything that goes into there, it's all about assisting me with my Spanish lessons, and you can contextualize it. I already explained to it in that profile of that GPT that I do not want to learn proper Spanish. I don't want to learn the King Spanish, and I don't want to learn Portuguese, none of that. Unidos Estados, United States spoken Spanish. Closer to Latin phrases, cool, but definitely not across seas. Okay, so some of y'all that already know Spanish, you know one of the things, the difference between maybe a common word used here versus a Spain Spanish would be nosotros versus vosotros, right? They say rarely ever in the United States do Spanish-speaking people say vosotros. They say nosotros. Maybe in 12 months, I can say we say nosotros. That would be a wonderful thing. But anyway, here it is. Let me play let me see how to say it. Yeah, this is going to be long-winded. Yeah. And let me check something there. And I'm recording it because I'll be able to scrub through here and actually present this in a different way on another channel. But here's the deal. Let me see. I'm going to put this in English and attempt to say this. Let me introduce my teachers and professors. Now, I'm typing that in my iPhone on Google Translation, and what I basically do is type it in English, hit the go. It gives it to me in Spanish, and then I'll play it back to myself, and I never say it right. Let's just understand this, okay? I'm at the early stages, very beginnings of whatever, and I play it back to myself and try to practice it, utter it, and try to make sense of it. Here we go.
Permítanme presentarles a mis maestros y profesores.
There's no way I'm saying that, but I will make the error in my attempt because that's where the growth starts. Let me play it back.
Permítanme presentarles.
Permítame presentarles.
Permítanme presentarles a mis maestros y.
Here we go. Permítame presentarles a mis maestros y profesores. Let's play it back.
Permítanme presentarles a mis maestros y profesores.
Permítame presentarles a mis maestros y profesores. Let me get that.
Permítanme presentarles a mis maestros y profesores.
A mis maestros y profesores. Okay, I get that. So basically I'm saying, let me introduce my teachers and professors. So here's one of them that I chose. And of course I've subscribed to the YouTube channel. I'm just showing you my hand-to-hand, low-level method of engagement in attempting to develop some skills or strategy to learn the language, to learn some conversational Spanish. I'm not studying the language. To me, studying the language is different than learning the language, even though semantically there's a lot of crossover. There's that Venn diagram of overlap, maybe some union involved there, but I'm not studying the language. I just want to learn the language, have conversations, be able to read, explore different ideas, and maybe harass my mind. Okay? All right. So, anyway, here's one of my professors, or as they say here, here is one of my mis maestros y profesores. Okay.
Hey, que la que hay, mi gente? It's Rocky here from SpeakSpanishFaster.com, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I would do if I was learning Spanish from scratch. So,
now, did you hear his introduction? He say, "Hey," and he said a bunch of stuff I didn't understand, but the name of his channel is Speak Spanish Faster. That's his YouTube channel, and his name is Rocky. So I remember that's my man Rocky. Now, if you look at Rocky, Rocky seems like he might be in his middle 20s, maybe approaching 30 at best or something, or not. Okay, pretty young guy, pretty feisty. I'm looking at his background. He has more that executive background with the whole table and the shelves and all of that stuff. I don't know if that's his house. I don't know if that's his office. I don't know, if he's in the corporate building or that's just a background. It really doesn't matter. But I picked him because of his energy and I'll be really specific about that. I picked him because I like his shorts. When I go into his channel, and let's say this channel right here, I like looking at his shorts. Now, as you know, YouTube has, let me move it over some. You guys can't see that, right? Let me do that. Let me bring it over so you can see. Well, you know, there you go. I'm in this channel. It's called Speak Spanish Faster. And what I do with Rocky is I use Rocky as if it's some flashcards with a life, with a real body, a real human being that's cognizant, that's knowledgeable, that's aware, that's trying to convey a message. And I go through his shorts on his YouTube channel as if they're flashcards, because it's just a quick drill. So in other words, here's one right here I'll show you. And as you know, shorts in YouTube are usually long form video, so 3 minutes and under. More popular shorts on YouTube are 60 seconds and under, 59 seconds and under. And the reason why a lot of people make YouTube shorts, not to segue onto a different subject, is because the 60 and under seconds, the less than a minute YouTube shorts, YouTube really doesn't run it against any copyright infringement or some authorization to use somebody else's content. They really don't put a content ID on it if it's less than 60 seconds, because they're not going to pay you for that anyway. But if it's more than 60 seconds, you can have a YouTube short, I think now it's up to about 3 minutes or 180 seconds. They will run that through a content ID or a UMG match if it's music for artists and different things like that. But my purpose for choosing Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster is because I don't really watch his long form videos. I watched a couple of them, but I'm not on him yet for that because he gets into it deep. But in terms of that flashcard approach, if I want to just do some quick drills or if I'm just somewhere just going through something, I think this use case for his particular channel and assisting me to learn how to speak Spanish works as a more flashcard, quick drill. I'm a live body, I'm virtualized, and I'm knowledgeable, and here we go. So it's that thing, right? So I'll click on one. So right here, if I click on one of them,
here are Spanish phrases
let me stop it, and you could probably hear it. I'll go to another one of his. 20 Christmas Spanish words.
Stop saying puedo tener when you order something in Spanish.
See, this video right here is only 1 minute and 20 seconds. So this is a quick snapshot or drill that you might be up on, or it might get me curious about a particular term or a concept or a use case or some structure or a chunk of words, as I'm learning now. Learn Spanish in chunks. Learn Spanish in chunks, right? Grouping of words so it can become more meaningful and structural to you as a quicker reward and a quick movement in terms of progress and not fluency, but at least to feel like you're getting somewhere. You're not just talking to yourself and airing my own thoughts out in my head. So this is an example of what I'm using Rocky for. I'll let this play. Here we go.
Stop saying puedo tener when you order something in Spanish. Here's what you should say so that you can sound more natural. I'm going to give you 3 things, all right? The first thing you can say is me das. So that's like, can you give me?
See that right there? Me das. So that's like, can you give me? That means something to me. That is going to be more receptive to my short axons and my dilapidated or regressive synapses. Me das. Can you give something to me? Because I understand the concept, or I understand that chunk of words having a meaning. So let me finish playing.
So you could say, me das un café, por favor? Can you give me coffee, please?
See, that makes sense. Me das una botella. Oh, he's going to water, but before he was actually on coffee. Let me back it up. And then I could just listen to it again.
Can you give me? So you
See?
could say,
Me
me
das.
das un café, por favor?
Me das un café, por favor? That makes sense to me. Can you give me coffee? So when I look at that, and it then says, please. So when I'm looking at that, and let me blow this out a little bit. Not that you guys need to see it, but it's just for me, and it's for the video that I'm going to make from it later on. So let me just get in that practice right here. Okay, so let me do it a little bit more since I'm going through his shorts. Yeah, so in this case, you see in the text, it says, me das un café, por favor? Now, I'm already aware of cafe, coffee. I'm kind of aware of por favor, meaning please, okay? So if I had to question myself and do my research, my studies, I also have a book here that was given to me as a gift, Easy Spanish, Step by Step. So this is also a resource too. But if I had to do the studies and watch long video or understand something to break this down even further, I would look up, why is UN, in front of the word cafe? Now, I could tell you that because it's masculine or not, or it's single and not plural, or something with the tenses. That might be what it is, okay? Or it might be trying to match the gender with the numbers or something like that. I'm making that up. I'm just making that up. But the point of it is, and what I got from Rocky, and this is why I chose Rocky as my living flashcard knowledgeable person, is because of these shorts. These are quick tidbits, quick hits, quick dopamine shots. There you go. Instead of swiping through TikTok and swiping through Instagram, if I already have that habit, I can swipe through Rocky for about 45 minutes, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes here and there. Because why? I already have the habit of the swiping. So I know I'm talking out of line. I'm just saying the goal is to make all of those things work for me, right? But getting back to this one piece, this is why I said it took me 2 hours to learn 22 seconds out of a 20-minute video. And this speaks to why. Probably my methodology, my approach, my mind, how I think, how I just go in a protracted way in one particular area, because the foundational knowledge, the principal knowledge, the conceptual knowledge is very important to me to build upon, like Legos, like a brick. But anyway, let's listen to this again.
Me das. So that's like, can you give me? So
What does he say? What does he say here? What is the lesson
something
here?
in Spanish? Stop.
Here's the lessons. He's basically saying, people say puedo tener, okay? Puedo tener. People say that. He's establishing that. Now, I can tell you now, I don't know why people say that. I didn't even know people say that a lot. Why? Because I don't speak Spanish. But I'm just taking Rocky's word because Rocky is from SpeakSpanishFaster.com. This is Rocky. He's the man. He's the guy, right? Okay. And he's saying, stop saying puedo tener, meaning it's already established that that's used commonly. And he wants to give people who already can speak to this point or already speak Spanish another option. That's what I'm saying. See, it's not about, do I know all that? Do you know puedo tener? And how did you meet puedo? I don't. I'm jumping right from what he's saying. And then he's giving options. Because in terms of me delving into puedo or tener, I'm going to use probably my other profesores or maestros to learn that, okay? And I think the word for learn is aprender, aprender, something like that. But anyway, let's listen, because he comes out. Stop saying puedo tener. Hold up.
Stop saying puedo tener when you order something in Spanish.
So puedo tener when you order something in Spanish.
Here's what you should say so that you can sound more natural. I'm going to give you three things, all right? The first thing you can say is me das.
Me das. He says so you can sound more natural. And ultimately, that is my goal too. I want to sound more natural. There is this term that I learned to say, well, there's a group of terms, and these are coming in chunks, that I'm learning to say, especially to people who speak Spanish, even more specifically to Latin people or Mexicans or anybody of a Spanish descent or ethnicity or race when I'm attempting to speak Spanish. Because the last thing that I want to do in the process of me learning how to speak is to insult people as if I know, or to give it an air of arrogancy when I go to speak it, when really I just want to show humility in my attempt to learn the language, okay? So, like here he says, another way of saying is, can you give me? Me das. Me das. Let me make sure he said that.
All right, the first thing you can say is me das.
Me das.
So that's like, can you give me?
Can
so
you
you can
give
say, me das un café, por favor?
Me das un café, por favor? Can you give me? See? The chunk. Me das. Me das. Can you give me coffee? Un café. The coffee. Or a coffee. Right? That's like singular, masculine, or whatever. Un café. But me das is representing that chunk of words to say like, can you give me? And that is important because you can build off of that. Can you give me the BC, is it bicicleta? Bicicleta, or people say BC, but that means bicycle, okay? Can you give me the bicicleta or can you give me the BC? Me das BC. Me das bicicleta. Let's finish. Let me let it go.
Can you give me coffee, please? Another example of me das, you could say, me das una botella de agua.
See, I can't even say what he said. I can't hear that fast. But that's not it. My takeaway from this one short with Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster is, me das, can you give me? That's why I chose him as one of my profesores. Yeah, there you go. But in this one, he's talking about water. Can you give me is still me das. That's me das. And then a bottle of water, una botella de agua. Una botella de agua. That's a bottle of water. And I know I sound like trash trying to say it, but remember, this is all new. And if you're not willing to say it wrong, I don't know how you get to the point of saying it correctly. I don't know how that works. I won't know how that's going to work for anybody, but that's just what it is. Hang on for a second. Let me do something here. Let me check this. As they say, un momento. Let me just say that, right? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, to learn something new, a new domain, you have to stretch. You have to be so humble. You have to be willing to just sound ridiculous in your attempts. And then 12 months from now, I'll be reading the same thing or showing where I am. And then people listening might say, oh, it sounds like you learned, where did you learn a little Spanish from? Well, you're just looking at the results of effort and sacrifice and work over the next 12 months, this time next year. But tonight, it just sounds like, maybe I drank some wine that didn't have alcohol in it. Well, not really me, because I don't drink it all, but you get my point. The point. All right, so I'm going to get away from Rocky, from Speak Spanish Faster. I was just demonstrating, why did I choose Rocky? Or if I go to my Spanish lesson in my GPT real quick, where I actually asked it to spell out the 5 W's and the H, when I said, why did I choose Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster, that might be K, right? That might be K. Let me see. Where my 5 W's? It's in there somewhere, but don't worry about it. Let me get to another one of my professors. Okay, here we go. This guy. This guy right here is Kuru Paul. I'm going to let him introduce himself and play a little clip from his YouTube channel, which I'm going to tell you why I chose this guy. I'm going to explain that in a second, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Here we go. And the name of his YouTube channel is Spanish with Kuru Paul. And Kuru is spelled Qroo. And I know it sounds like I put syllables in R, but I've been talking that way for a minute. So anyway, listen to this guy. Listen to my other profesores or maestros introduce himself. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Q Paul here. Welcome to the first lesson of my course, Cero to Conversational. This course was designed specifically for English-speaking adults who speak little or no Spanish, or those who have tried and failed to learn Spanish in the past via more traditional courses. Even if you're an absolute beginner to Spanish, I promise you that by the end of this lesson, you're going to be translating sentences on your own. I know that's a big promise, but you're going to see. In this lesson, the very first lesson, I'm going to be giving you an
Anyway, I'm going to stop it right there because he's not lying. I'm telling you, I did his first lesson. He's not lying. This first lesson is over 36 minutes. This YouTube video right here, lesson 1, Spanish pronunciation and basic translation from the YouTube channel, Spanish with Q Paul, lesson 1. Here's why I chose him, okay? I chose him because he's teaching with patterns. He's not teaching, here go the book, page 1, learn this, learn that, learn that. No, he's teaching as a combination of how he learned Spanish as well as him being an adult, him being 40 years old. He's indexed that psychology, those realities, with his teaching method. And that works for me. I don't think I would do well going to a class and sitting down and or even online and sitting down and going from page 1 to page 2 and chapter 3 and chapter 4. That's not going to work for me as a primary way to get my buy-in, to have me emotionally connected, to feel like there's going to be some level of retainment or retention with the information I'm being presented, because it's not relative or it's not poking at me. It's not waking me up. It's just not doing it. It's like I'm just learning it. And we know when it comes to retaining the information, the more senses that are involved, the more of some type of emotional connection, the longer the retainment. That's just what it is. So the reason why I chose Q Paul is because he's going to teach, he teaches in patterns. He teaches how to do some plug and play things as a result of the patterns. And he also teaches in the way where he presents the understanding, or he has the empathy for people who have just never been exposed to learning Spanish and they want to get to some level of speaking it where they can have some appreciation for their efforts. And then you can go back and look at the rules. Then you can look at the structures and different things like that. So I love this. This is where I'm getting the idea of the chunks from, the chunks of words. So example would be just real quick, just jumping right into something, right? Q Paul gets into this first lesson. In this first lesson, he gets into how you could just replace certain words for other words. So example here would be, let's
the person you're talking to, it's close enough they realize what you're trying to say and they correct you. So let's see if you can do a few of these cognate tricks on your own.
Oh, this is it right here. So this is what I'm talking about. He has something called a cognate trick. A cognate trick. C-O-G-N-A-T-E.
It is before an I or an E.
Hang on. Let me see. Where is that?
English H.
All right, wait a minute.
In English.
Wait a minute.
And we had an example of that.
Let me move it up some. Because I just want to show the list of words.
This one we're going to
a real easy buy-in. So here it is right here.
Creación.
Here it is right here. All right.
Creación.
All right, here we go, right here. Let's go.
And in T-I-O-N. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at these words that in judicial.
Okay, so let's
judicial. Okay, that AL to AL cognate trick is pretty cool, right? But it isn't the most useful cognate trick in my humble opinion. I'm going to teach you the big one so you can practice it as we continue to work through your Spanish pronunciation. All right, here it is. The T-I-O-N to C-I-O-N cognate trick.
There we go. Think about what's going on right here. This is part of the reason why I've chosen Q Paul as one of my profesores or maestros. Because, and I think with because I can say, do you say Pedro? No, what do you say for because? Whatever it is, I'll learn it, right? But anyway, he has the cognate trick, C-O-G-N-A-T-E. And he says it's a trick. Right? Now, we know none of it is literally a trick. We know that behind this are rules and structure and just principles that are being applied. But the idea of it being presented as a cognate trick, meaning that if you look at it a particular way and not get so heavily weighed down with what it really is grammatically and structurally and what page 37 says, and you're not supposed to get to this part until you go through chapter 8. If you just get away from all that, give yourself a break from all that, and just breathe on it where you can appreciate its use case, how it's being applied, and then dig as deep as you want into the lexicology of it, the epitology of it, and rest of the rest, right? He presents the T-I-N and the C-I-O-N. And now let him explain what this is.
So to use this one, we're going to take words in English that end in T-I-O-N. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at these words and we're going to change the T at the end to a C and then put an accent over the last O. That accent is going to tell us to put the emphasis on that letter when we pronounce the word. Well, there you go. These are Spanish words now. It's that easy. We're going to go through these, and just like I did before, I'm going to say each one twice, pause, so you have an opportunity to say the word. Ready? Creación, creación. Invitación, invitación. Creación.
Okay, so not to leave blanks in it, I'll participate a little bit in it, but just think about what he just did, the cognate trick. He's basically saying, you know, the word was creation, the word was invitation, the word was documentation, the word was information, the word was verification. And he said, well, let's just use the cognate trick. So he's not going to make me burn my mental brain out and tear up my brain cells in approaching it with 5 pages of this and 3 chapters of this and all this weirdness. He's reverse engineering. He's dialing it back. He's basically saying to me, and I'm not saying he's saying this to you. What I'm saying is the wonderful thing about the world we live in now, you can choose the maestros y profesores, teachers and professors, E, the Y means and, that works for you. That's all. So the way I'm processing it and the way I'm looking at it, that don't mean it works for you. Find the ones that do. That works for me. He says, look, you take the T at creation, replace it with a C, and put an accent mark or whatever that thing is over the O to represent the emphasis is going to be on the O. So instead of me saying creation as it was, creation, I'm going to put the C where the T was. I'm going to put the accent mark over the O as he instructed. And whenever you're pronouncing the C inside of a word, especially before the vowel, it's going to take on that S sound. So now I'm going to say creación, creación, cre, C-R-E, A, C, C-I, own. So if you notice, my emphasis doesn't show up until I say own, because the accent is on the O, where that's where the emphasis should be. A little more breath behind it, right? So creación, invitación, documentación, información, verificación. That's what I'm thinking is going on here. Without me knowing the rule. I'm going to learn the rule. That's why I got my other maestro y profesores for the rules. She's going to dig deep. She's from Mexico. She's in it. And she's teaching it so you can say it in the United States, how it's spoken in the United States. That's why I got her. That's why I got the different ones that work for me. That's what you can do. Not only, I'm talking about this in terms of learning conversational Spanish. This works for any domain. It could be mathematics. It could be artificial intelligence. It could be anything. Finance. The domain doesn't matter because I'm jumping to something else. What's available is just super cool. So let's see what he says it should be, and I'll participate in this. Here we go.
Invitación, invitación.
Invitación, invitación.
Documentación, documentación.
Documentación, documentación.
Información, información.
Información, información.
Verificación, verificación.
Verificación, verificación. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You have to be willing to say it and sound ridiculous. You have to be so humble that you just, like, if there's other animals or plants nearby in the same room as you, the plants start growing and the animal bow their head and go to the other room. The fish stop swimming and crawl under the rock or something. You know, your family members or friends, they just going to sit there and look at you like you crazy. You have to be willing to do that. I do not know, I cannot figure out how someone can think their way through pronunciation. You have to be able to pronunciate it wrong. For me to say invitación, which is different than invitation, it might take me 123 saying invitación, not all at once, but over the next few weeks, over the next few months, before all of a sudden it sounds like I'm saying it like kind of correctly. It might take you only 99 invitaciones to get it out you. But we got to get the incorrect pronunciations of the invitaciones, creaciones, documentaciones, información, verificación out of us. Okay? We got to be willing to do that. It's some things going on here. But that's why I selected him. Okay?
You can slow these down at first till you get better. You can say creación, invitación. Now changing your English into the Spanish using this cognate trick was pretty easy, right? Now, as with most cognate tricks, it doesn't work on all words.
So there's always exception to the rules, that this, that. That's where we're going to get into the bell curve of things. Bell curve representing what? 68% or close to 70% of the probability of something occurring or happening. You know, the standard deviation, normal distribution of whatever the occurrence is. But anyway, the reason why I picked Q RuPaul, and the name of his YouTube channel is Spanish with Q RuPaul, is because he's going to teach patterns and tricks, best practices and chunks. He's also going to talk about the rules, but he's not going to burn me out mentally by making me presenting it in a way that if I don't get the rule, if I don't understand page 38, paragraph 2, you're not going to be able to get it. No, he's feeding me first. Hey, this changes to this. Let's try to pronounce it. Then he dials it back and say, here's the why, here's the what, here's the who. In other words, the que, the como, the bien, or bueno, I don't know the rest. I'm trying to freestyle that. I'm not there yet, okay? Anyway, my third maestros y profesores is this young lady here from Butterfly Spanish. This young lady is a Mexican native. She's from Mexico, however you say it. And which city, I'm not sure. She probably said it 100 times. I just didn't listen. I can't hear. I don't have a Spanish ear yet. Okay, so let's just understand that. But the reason why I chose this young lady from Butterfly Spanish, that's the name of her YouTube channel, is because she's going to teach the rules. She's going to go through the book. She's the chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's the index, the table of contents. She's going to show the tildes, the hyphens, the highlights, the columns, the rows, the no, and yeah. This is what she does. This is what she does. She's the reason why it took me 2 hours to learn 22 seconds of a 20-minute video for my made-up Spanish lesson number 22. Her. Anna. I'll let her introduce herself. Let's check her out.
Hola, welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Ana y en la clase de hoy we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish. Vamos a aprender el verbo ir.
That's it. I'm going to play it back for you. I think she says muy bien. Let's see. Like very good.
En español.
Oh, in Espanol. And then she might say, all right.
Muy bien.
I'm going to stop it right there. That's the 22 seconds. Listen to me. The name of my video, the name of my live is why it took me 2 hours to learn 22 seconds of a 2-hour video in Spanish. This is the reason why. This video right here, and the name of her YouTube channel is Butterfly Spanish, not Spanish Butterfly. It's Butterfly Spanish. That's the name of her YouTube channel. She's a Mexican-born maestro. She is a muy bien, or how do I say very good? Mucho bien, or I'm not sure yet. I'll get there. She's one of my, I have tres profesoras, and she is one of them. Yeah. And even though this video right here, she's teaching the verb to go, ir, voy, vas, in Spanish, even though she's teaching that. And this video of hers is 20 minutes long. If I go here on the timeline, this video lasts for 20 minutes, 1 second. All I played was the first 22 seconds, and I'll play the first 22 seconds again. And it took me 2 hours to go through the first 22 seconds. Check it out again.
Hola, welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Ana y en la clase de hoy we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish. Vamos a aprender el verbo ir en español. Muy bien. First,
That's
I'm
it.
going to tell
That's it. Again, that's it. Muy bien. Now, what did she do? Why did it take me 2 hours to endure the first 22 seconds of what Anna did? What was it? I didn't get caught up on, I didn't say, well, K. Ru Paul or Q. Ru Paul, when you showed this video, it seemed like it was more than 22 seconds. Yeah, it was 38 minutes. When you showed Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster, his was less than 3 minutes short, so that's understandable. But what is it about Anna's butterfly Spanish that even though I was like, okay, I've been hearing, verbs are important. Let me learn something about verbs. And as I said, she's that maestra. She's that professora that's more book. I'm going to take you in the book. I'm going to stand in front of the pages. I'm going to give it to you. And so this 20-minute YouTube video on the 3 verbs, ir, boy, and vas, I didn't get past 22 seconds. What was it, Todd? Why didn't you get past 22 seconds? Because when I'm looking at videos from Anna, I'm sitting in the class. I'm raising my hand. I'm doing the research. I am in a class. I am at the college. I am in the auditorium. I'm in where the class is being given. I am going to take the notes. I am going to do all of that stuff. This is where I'm going to, go into ChatGPT and use some of the other resources. Again, the name of this live is, it took me 2 hours to go through or learn 22 seconds of a 20-minute video that teaches about the verb ir, or to go in English. Here's what happened. Let me explain to you what happened. Here's what she did the first 22 seconds. I took my little notes, but here's what she did, okay?
Hola.
The first thing she did was she spoke to us. She said, hola. Hola is a way of saying hello in Spanish. That's what that is, okay? That's a good enough greeting for the informal and not. For people you may know and people you may not know. Because for the most part, I'm not going to know anybody, and I don't want to insult anybody. So hola seems like a safe one. So the first thing she did was she spoke. Hola, okay? Now, in a less formal way, she could have said something like, ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué pasa? What's up? What's going on? What's happening? But no, you gotta keep it clean, man. Until I know what I'm saying and know how to put the energy and give the cadence and be more intentional with my delivery, I'm not playing with nobody. Nah. Hola is cool. So the first thing she did was spoke. So I wrote that down. What does she do next?
Welcome to Butterfly Spanish.
So she says, hello, hola. Then she says, welcome to Butterfly Spanish. So now she's going to welcome whoever's watching. Remember, everything I'm talking about now is all done within the first 22 seconds of a 2-hour video. And I spent 2 hours on the first 22 seconds. I know it sounds insane. It sounds radical. It sounds like I need to go back to school. I am for a second language called Spanish. So if you're saying it sounds like I need to go back to school, I am. You're a genius. I'll learn how to say that in Spanish, okay? Because you're a genius right now. So she says, what did she say? Welcome to, let's listen.
Hola. Welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish.
Then she says it in Spanish. Welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. So, bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos means welcome. Okay? Why? Because bien, when I do my research, B-I-E-N means well. Sometimes good, but well. W-E-L-L. Latin translation, well. Bienvenidos. Come. So you got well and come. Well plus come. Bienvenidos. Yeah. Bienvenidos. Welcome. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. So she welcomed everybody to her YouTube channel. If it was my YouTube channel or podcast, I would say Bienvenidos a podcast or something, whatever. But it's welcome to. That's what I'm saying. Now, keep this in mind. You said, well, that was easy enough. You could have just blew by that. No, I couldn't. You know why? Because when I did my research, because I'm in here with the maestra, she's saying bienvenidos with a D-O-S at the end. You can also say it bienvenidas, D-A-S, bienvenidas, that S. So I had to understand why are you using the O-S at the end versus an A-S, versus an A, versus an O. So now we're talking about what? Yeah, masculine and feminine, individuals and groups. And what I'm learning for her is you have to make the gender, whether it's masculine or feminine, match the numbers. Are you talking to an individual or are you talking to a group? I know that sounds like a lot, but if, like I said, if you're getting my not my energy, or if I'm coming across, or in my attempt to deliver my message here, I go all in on research and study with Anna from Butterfly Spanish as my maestra, because she's at the board teaching the rules. She's going to show the grammar. She's in the pages. She's in the chapters. She is my living book. So I approach that differently. When I'm over here with my man, Q RuPaul, we sitting there holding a conversation. He like, Talk, I get it, man. You never learned Spanish before. Let me show you some tricks. We're going to do some cognate trips. You know, cognate, C-O-G-N-A-T-E, cognitive, mental, thinking, the way you look at things. Inference, yeah, deduction, all of that stuff, right? Cool. He says we're going to get into some patterns. We're going to do some cognate trips. I'm going to show you how to convert maybe some nouns right into verbs so that you can use that to help you get it over to a verb, different things like that. So this is my man. We like, yeah, it's more personable. It's not a bunch of people in the classroom. And then I get my other guy right here, my man Rocky. My man Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster. He's my living flashcards. So if you notice, with Rocky, it's not a dialogue. I'm not even thinking about, am I communicating with him? With Rocky, it's more of a drill. It's flashcard stuff. Check this out. This is more repetitive in that sense. Do you get it now? Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Q RuPaul is like, we kicking it. Yeah, I'm not talking to him directly, but in my mind I am, because he's always in the posture of empathy for those who learned it by way of a use case the way that he did. In fact, he tells a story on his website. He says he was basically a border patrol officer in Texas or somewhere down there by the Rio Grande. And he learned Spanish as a result of being the officer. That's how he learned the Spanish. He never had it before then, or he had some minimum amount of exposure to it. So my engagement or my thinking, my psychology with what he says, my approach is one thing. Now, back over here to my girl, Anna. We in the classroom. So when she says, hola, I got to look it up. It's hello. And it's formal enough for strangers and people you know. And then when she goes, welcome to Spanish Butterfly, and then she gives the Spanish translation, bienvenidos, DOS, Spanish Butterfly, I have to look at that. And now I see is different ways of saying it, and I see the reasons why, okay? But the 22 seconds is not over with. In fact, we're probably on the 8th second. Let me play a little more.
Me llamo Ana y en la clase de hoy
Did you hear what she said? Let me play it back. She says,
we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish.
oh, let me put it back.
Vamos a
Let me put it
aprender.
back. Let me put it back.
Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Ana.
Now, what did she say? Me llamo Ana. She just introduced herself. That's what she did. See, when she spoke, that's not an introduction. Nah. When she said, welcome to Spanish Butterfly, when she spoke, hola, hello, that wasn't an introduction. That was her speaking. When she said, welcome to Spanish Butterfly, bienvenidos a Spanish Butterfly, that wasn't her introducing herself. That was her welcoming people, because bienvenidos is a combination that means well and come. Welcome to what? Bienvenidos a Spanish Butterfly. Welcome to our channel or our class or what have you. Now she says, me llamo Ana. Me llamo Ana. Now she's saying, my name is Anna. She could have said, soy Anna, I'm Anna. She could have said some other ways of saying who you are. But she says, me llamo Anna. And so what I had to do was do the research and look at maybe the 3 more popular ways that introducing yourself as your name is done in the United States with Spanish-speaking people, and look at the one that is formal enough, because everybody that I'm going to be talking to and how I'm going to be speaking is going to be very closer to formal, to stay away from insulting anyone inadvertently. So, me llamo Ana, for me, would be me llamo Tak. My name is Tak. Okay? So, where we at? Speaking, welcoming, introducing herself. Let's see what she does next. Let's see. Let's see how this goes.
Hola. Welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Ana y en la clase de hoy we're going to learn.
Listen to what she says. En la clase de hoy, that's what she says after introducing herself. Me llamo Ana, me llamo Tak, my name is Tak. En la clase de hoy, so let's break that down. En, even though it's E-N in Spanish, it kind of represents I-N in English. So if there's a way to cheat, if I check with my boy Q RuPaul, he probably would say, yeah, in your mind you can cheat that. E-N is kind of the I-N. So N, E-N, la clase de hoy, la clase, la feminine, clase, feminine, okay, with one S, C-L-A-S-E. So the class, in the class, if you want to literally read it, right? It's en la clase, in the class. De hoy, of today, of the day. DE typically represents some type of, okay? So when she says, en la clase de hoy, she's basically saying, in today's class. That's what she would say. That's typically what you would hear English speakers say. Myself, I wouldn't say, in the class of day, because literally that's what that reads. It reads, en la clase hoy, in the class of day. No, it's switched around. Okay, it's reversed. It's swapped. So just accept that and learn it. That's what I have to do. So when she says en la clase de hoy, I know that means after my research, part of my 2 hours, I can't get out of the 22 seconds of a 20-minute video, is that means in today's class. All right, so let me be quiet again. And I know it sounds long-winded. It sounds protracted. It sounds like, dude, it's late, go to bed. No, you're getting a very small representation of the 2 hours of research I did to get an understanding of the first 22 seconds of Anna's video, or video, which lasted 20 minutes without even getting to the subject. Let's go.
Learn the verb to go, Ana. Y en la clase de hoy, we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish.
We are going to learn. Think about what she said.
Vamos a aprender el
Vamos a aprender. We are going to learn. Vamos a aprender. Hola.
in Spanish. Vamos a aprender el verbo ir.
Vamos a aprender. What? Vamos a aprender el verbo ir. The verb. E-L, verbo, ir. I-R, which is in English the verb to what? You English speakers, I know y'all know it. I know y'all know it. Think about what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying. Hold up.
Hoy we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish. Vamos a aprender
Vamos a aprender. We're going to learn
el verbo ir.
el verbo ir, which is the verb to go in English. Okay?
En español.
But of
Muy
course,
bien.
in Espanol.
Verb.
So let's go through what she did in 22 seconds. Here's my notes. This is what she did in 22 seconds. All right, let's do it.
Welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a
Let me start from the beginning. Because first she speaks. After she speaks, she welcomes everybody to the class, or the name of her channel, Butterfly Spanish. After she welcomes everybody, she introduces herself. After she introduces herself, she talks about today's agenda. What is the goal today? What am I here to teach you? What am I giving you? After she talks about that lesson, she gets into specifically what that is. We're going to learn about, in this case, the verb ir, or to go. So let's listen.
Hola.
Speaking.
Welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a
Welcome.
Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Ana.
Introduce herself.
Y en la clase de hoy,
In today's
we're going
class,
to
we're
learn
going to learn
the verb to go
the verb
in
to go
Spanish.
in Spanish.
Vamos a aprender el verbo ir en español. Muy bien.
That's it. I'm on the 22nd second. This video is 20 minutes and 1 second long. And I spent 2 hours on the first 22 seconds. Now you might say, you crazy. Here's the good thing. I might be. Because several things can be true at the same time. But one of the things that it gave me was I was able to look at the structure. She speaks, she welcomes, she introduces herself, she talks about what the agenda or the goal is for the day. She gets into specifically what that is, and she says it in what language it's going to be. And she says, muy bien. Now, muy, M-U-Y, means very. Bien means good, very good. So for her, from speaking to muy bien, we good. Hola, hello. Welcome to Butterfly Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Anna or me llamo Top. Introducing myself. The goal for the day is to teach you about the Spanish verb ir, meaning to go. Okay? Now, what I had to do in that case, I had to put it in my open AI, but I also put it in my Google Translation on my phone to make it easier to get to. And this is basically how that sounds. Let me see. This is basically how that sounds. Hola, me llamo Ta. Bienvenidos a mi podcast. En la clase de hoy vamos a aprender el verbo ir. And that sounds horrible. It doesn't go like that. But I have to get the horribleness out of me. It might take 17 horribles, 28 horribles. But what it allows me to do is fine tune as I go on, as I immerse myself, as I read, as I go through Anna, as I go through K. RuPaul or Q. RuPaul, as I go through Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster. All of a sudden, my diet, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, it starts to make sense. It just does. I'm in the basement. I have no problem. It's not a problem. Let me play this back. This is how this sounds in Spanish.
Hola, me llamo Tac. Bienvenidos a mi podcast. En la clase de hoy, vamos a aprender el verbo ir.
See? Hola, me llamo Tac. Bienvenidos a mi podcast. En la clase de hoy, vamos a aprender el verbo ir. Now, I left out a. I should have said, vamos a aprender el verbo ir, meaning go to. So it'll get better. It will. And it's like anything else. You ever listen to I don't know, you guys may not listen to hip hop, but old school hip hop, some new school stuff, right? Over the years. And some of these real fast rapping artists, you hear them a year or two later or 2 years after listening to it at that level or speed, all of a sudden, they don't sound that fast. They just not rapping that fast. You can actually hear what they're saying in a way that you couldn't hear it before. That's why a lot of times people say, man, you hear that dope line so-and-so said on such and such record. It's not because they recognized it then. It's because they grew to appreciation of the lyrics itself later on when it slowed down for them. Now, there's several reasons why, but one of the reasons is once you become acclimated to it, once I study, learn, my three maestros y profesores, different speeds, different looks, different tones, different generations. Look at this guy. This guy's young. He's definitely a Gen Z or Gen A or something like this. This guy right here, maybe at the top end of a millennial or something like this. And this young lady, she's probably not even 25. Mexico, Border Patrol, everywhere, okay? So it's these combination of things, and I'm just explaining my formula or formulae, okay? It's this combination of things. It's the resources that are made available to me. It's the internet. It's the online stuff. It's the digital stuff. It's anyone being able to select and build their curriculum, their syllabus, their schedules. I got my own schedule. It's 12/17. I started studying earlier today. I got back to study some more this evening. Since I've been on this YouTube live, it doesn't matter if one person looks at this or 100 people look at this. You know why? Because part of learning, retaining information, is to speak about it and share it and engage. And because I know I'm streaming live and I have the mindset of engagement, how many people actually engage it really doesn't matter. I've already hacked my mind to retain this more. And I'm already excited about the next lesson to come. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, like I said, I just wanted to share why it took 2 hours for me to cover 22 seconds of a 20-minute video. And the reason why is because one of my professors, my maestros, spoke, welcomed, introduced, set the agenda, and thanked everybody or stated the lesson. And within the first 22 seconds of that, I've learned so
Butterfly
much.
Spanish. Bienvenidos a Butterfly Spanish. Me llamo Ana y en la clase de hoy we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish. Vamos a aprender el verbo
Vamos a aprender en verbo ir. Vamos a aprender en verbo ir. IR, meaning to go in English. Vamos a aprender. See, because I don't know how to speak it, when I'm reading it sometimes, I don't feel the juice. I don't feel the flow, the stilo, it ain't hit me right. But what I'm learning about the Spanish language, typically, if it doesn't sound right, it's not being spoken right. Yeah, because she's not reading vamos a aprender ir to go. That's not what she's saying. She's almost singing this stuff.
we're going to learn the verb to go in Spanish.
Listen to what she's saying. We're going to learn, she paused, the verb to go, pause, in Spanish. Not the pause that the guys from New York do, the OGs from New York do. Not the pause you hear from Dame Dash, and now you hear from Cam, not Cam, you hear from my man, Cameron. That's why I say Cam, right? No, not that pause. But she says, we're going to learn, listen to what she says, pause.
The verb to go in Spanish.
We're going to learn, pause, the verb to go, pause, in the Spanish. Now watch how she says it in Spanish. She starts with, we're going to learn, pause, the verb to go, pause, in Spanish. Let's listen to this.
Vamos a
Vamos a aprender
el verbo
en verbo
ir
ir
en español.
en español.
Muy bien.
Muy
First,
bien. You get it?
I'm going to tell you.
I love it. I love it.
Vamos a aprender el verbo ir en español.
Vamos a aprender en verbo ir en español. Vamos a aprender. We're going to learn. Think about it. Vamos a aprender. We're going to learn. Yeah. Pause. En verbo ir. In other words, el verbo ir, the verb ir, pause, in español. The verb is to go, right? I love it. And then she says, muy bien, very good, meaning y'all understand. All right, that's it. That's 22 seconds. Just 22 seconds. That's why when people say, I don't know where to look, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to get it, where it is, it really doesn't matter what the domain is. We live in a wonderful time. Wonderful. Like I said, I got ChatGPT, I got Google Translate, I got Gemini 3, I have my YouTube professors, and they all play a different role, so I got my different classes set up. Got my notes, got my book, school always open, escuela always open. How would you say that in Spanish? Let me see, let's see. How would I say the school The university is always available. The university is always available. Let me say that. Okay.
La universidad siempre está disponible.
Woo! La universidad siempre está disponible. See how you have to, or I have to, train myself to just go ahead and say it in a ridiculous way till it becomes less ridiculous. But if you're not even willing to say it in a ridiculous way, man, the journey will be protracted. Let me play it again. Listen to this.
The university is always available.
La universidad siempre está disponible.
La universidad siempre está disponible. La universidad, the university. Siempre, always. You hear those terms. Siempre, always. A basis, sometimes. Nunca, never. Está disponible.
La universidad siempre está disponible.
La universidad, and it's it's not un, it's right? La universidad siempre está disponible. And I know that sounds ratchet and crackheadish and just terrible. But I have to keep saying it until it no longer sounds that way. Peace. I'm going to say hasta mañana. Hasta luego. It's been great. I love it. It's part of the journey. Yeah. Say goodnight to my maestros and my profesoras. So we got my man Q Paul. Got my man Rocky from Speak Spanish Faster. Again, got my man Q Paul from Spanish with Q Paul. And got my girl. This is my girl right here, Anna from Spanish Butterfly. 2 hours, 22 seconds, and it's still 20 minutes basically left.